Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. So today we're going to be coaching a master mid laner who we have coached in the past. And in the past, kind of coaching, a lot of the stuff we were looking at was how to get gold on the map, kind of where to be on the map, stuff like that. And we can see some improvement there. And then now we're worrying more about the lane phase here, and then also some mechanical things, keeping track of spells, stuff like that. And then additionally in this video, we kind of lay out the typical process of the early game, what you're going to want to be doing the first couple levels, then after your first recall, and then, finally setting up for the objective. So if you guys are interested in kind of those types of things in mid lane, definitely stick around and watch the rest of the video. If you're interested in getting coaching from a rank 5 sovereign autofill mid laner or autofill player, all roles, like myself, then just DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description to my Discord server. You can find me there as well. It's just $15 an hour for the coaching, and yeah, I can pretty much help any role, any champion, whatever you guys need. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you later.
Now now I use the same champion, but I'm a little bit building again my champion pool now. Still Syndra, now mostly I play Syndra Victor these days. Syndra Victors and Aurelio Sol.
Yeah.
Because I was going through my most win rate on my champions, and and it's Aurelio Sol, okay, one of my and Timo also, but Timo got nerfed, so I decided not to play him again.
Gotcha.
And since I like Syndra and Victor, even if I don't have a good win rate with them yet, but I still keep them. Yeah, I want to push them. And then I started again to play Aurelio Sol because I have like a 55% win rate on with 85 games. So
gotcha.
So yeah, this is the game, and loss, of course.
Okay,
but
so yeah, pause here real quick. If you have anything quickly, you can go ahead, but otherwise just pause.
No.
In the top right, click the 3 little bars that you see in the top right, and then make Fog of War blue. Like click the blue vision thing. And then apart from that, yeah, you're good. You can start the replay again. But a couple of things I saw so far. I think we talked about this last time. We might not have. Don't
the division. The division.
So you worded level 1. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I worded level. Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. So that's fine. We realize it. Not a big deal.
Yeah. I knew it.
Second thing is you push the wave too hard. Galio in most melee matchups, what you typically want is to take advantage of the fact that you have the range advantage level 1, because usually when they get level 2, level 3, they start to have their gap closures, their way to actually catch you, and then they're more dangerous. So level 1, you need to, again, be waiting for him to go up for last hits, but you just hit the wave and hit the wave and hit the wave. When I want you to just hit it one time, so it's slightly lower than his wave, but only have it slow pushing. You hard pushed it, and then you also used your first ability to push the wave even faster, which means that you lost a stack, because that stack should have been hitting the Galio. So those are the main things.
One thing about this fast pushing is because I thought that Galio was AFK, for that moment. So I thought, okay, let me fast push it, and but then it wasn't FK, so I just fucked it up. So
yeah, and you didn't walk far enough to even know for sure if he was like where he was. Like you could have walked a little further as well to test, because he's not a champion who threatens you level 1. We need to understand this. Like
like last time with the Castle.
Like you could have literally at the start of the lane basically walked up to like right where Galio is standing right now. You could basically have been there if he didn't show up right away, because then anytime he walks anywhere, you're gonna immediately start poking him as he gets to the lane. So
the thing is, maybe I make a mistake. I make a mistake not doing that. But since I knew that that Mastery was starting red buff. So, like in this case, you should have started blue buff because bot lane is up. But in the solo, they always Mastery start a red buff. So I was a little bit scared of just like playing under his tower in this case.
So if you're doing that level
maybe
1,
it's a mistake.
Level 1, he's not gonna gank you. And then you're gonna be in the middle of the lane. So like if he did gank you, he would have to show himself. It's not like he would just like just magically appear out of nowhere. He's level 1, so he's not going to kill you level 1. Worst case, you lose your flash, but that's almost never going to even actually happen. And if he did start red buff, then we're fine with that because he's going to be pretty far away. Like, there's no real danger there. Level 1. Yeah, those are all the things. So we can just start. And then here at this point, you're doing a good job still of poking. Again, your goal into Galio is only to get stacks and nothing else. The problem is you're pushing the wave a bit too hard, and you can see how he could have frozen you properly there, and then you would have been kind of fucked because he could walk at you And even now he's still kind of doing it, where like since the wave is kind of getting frozen under his turret, we're not in a great spot, and that's why it's because you didn't build up a big enough wave your first couple levels, whereas you just crashed the first wave and then you crashed this wave. So you're only ever having equal minions to him, which then means again we're going to be low mana, getting poked out a lot more. And yeah, now it's just kind of a little hard. And then this is kind of where you can see the wave gets in a bad spot. So we want basically to have, again, if we are properly poking when they walk up for the last hits, getting that health lead, especially level 1, being more aggressive on level 1, we're going to have a big enough health lead to where we have that waves built up, we can crash the wave and then recall. Whereas now you're stuck a bit longer than you want, because now your goal is just to recall, because you have mana boots. So
I have mana boots.
And then recall,
that's what I will do. I will push this. I will take the last minion, and if I I will just recall here. I think.
No, this is fine because it's going to take him a little bit to push the wave. So even if you lose like one minion, it's not a big deal. This remember, that'd be fine too. Like it really would have been fine either way. But this is totally good because now you get to the wave. This is like completely perfect. So yeah, I think like the decision making is all fine in terms of what you're doing. It's just those more things like in terms of how fast we're pushing the wave is the main issue. And then now your goal should be to push the wave really quickly and then start moving. Like you no longer want freezing. Okay. You no longer want, usually when you get that recall for mana boots and then you get back into a lane in a position like this, and you need to stop using your abilities to last hit so much. I know. But usually what you end up wanting to do is crash a pretty decently sized wave and then start roaming. Unless you think you can kill him, but obviously you're not going to kill Galio. Like, he's just way too tanky. So yeah, the goal, like, again, your wave is getting pushed into you, which means Galio gets to move first, which is exactly what Galio wants. It's literally what his champion's based around, is roaming, right? True. He's getting exactly what he wants, so we need to understand that. And yeah, their last hitting sucks, so we need to practice
my last hitting,
Which that's more of a just, you get used to it the more you play, which is fine. But yeah, like, don't panic so much when you're last hitting. Never use your third ability to last hit. If you are going to last hit and you're like, oh, I'm going to miss this, you can Q or W. That's fine, because like maybe you just have to. But never really E, because another thing like with your E is, that is really important to almost always hold on to unless you see an opportunity to poke, because that's like essentially your defensive spell if the jungle shows up or something like that. And so again, here you should just push the wave really quickly and then probably take a recall or something.
I think I will do this.
So this is good.
I remember. I remember the combo that you told me about last time about the clearing wave. I always use it, and it changed a lot. Like my tempo with all my still mistakes, of course, because it's the first coaching. It changed a lot, really.
So I'm seeing good things so far. Like again, everything in terms of decision making here is fine. It's just you should be a lot higher stacks than you are. I don't know what stacks you are. I don't think replays can check how many stacks you are.
I think yes.
Maybe.
If I'm not 49. Mistaken, 49.
Yeah. So by this point, you should probably be closer to 55 to 60 into Galio most of the time, which is fine. 49 is not like bad, but it's a little slower than we could be. So that's just something to keep in mind, is like if we're looking at the, kind of the pacing, and a lot of that is because you're not punishing these certain last hits or getting those extra poke, or you're using too many of your abilities on other things. But like, not a bad thing. If you're, as long as you're hitting 40 stacks before first dragon, we're not like sad about it. Like it's fine. But a lot of times should be like into easier matchups like Galio, we should be like 60 by that time.
Okay. Yeah, with against melee champion around 60 before first dragon. Yeah, I had the game, what was it, yesterday, that I was against, they picked me Mordekaiser mid.
Yeah, but you just get to hit him for free.
No, I was like, I evolved three skills, like around 7 minutes, something like that.
Gotcha, yeah, that's really
6 minutes.
And something I do want to point out, though, is, again, we were about... The objective was spawning in about, like 5-10 seconds, and you started fighting them really hard, trading a bunch and poking. And so then all of your spells and mana was used on trading with them, and then they got prio over the wave, and they were able to rotate first and have a better position on the fight. You need to be understanding, like, taking this one random poke trade where I use QEW on someone, and, like, especially a Galio, it's like, it's nice to get a couple stacks, but all of those abilities should have been used to hit the wave first. Get the wave pushed and then rotate and help our team. So we need to understand your goal in the first 3 to 4 levels is get as many stacks as possible and get a recall for mana boots. Your goal once you come back from mana boots is now push the wave quickly, poke the enemy if they show up, and then see if we can find roam angles. And then your goal
Yeah.
around 4 minutes and 30 seconds is push the wave, and then trade, or then ward, or then fight. So we need to understand those are essentially the 3 different periods of the early game that we have to kind of like be aware of. Whereas for you, you're a bit more focused on like the trading even in those types of situations rather than focusing on like the wave. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is fine. Yeah, obviously it's hard. They drop
Yeah,
this
of
thing on you,
course.
so is what it is. That's my least favorite part about playing mid lane, is that like the ensembles usually dropped in your.
Yeah, usually the herald goes always on mid or top lane, depends on.
Yeah. And so this is something that's important as well. Is like there's gonna be games where you lose your mid turret, the game's going bad early, and what you can do a bit differently in this type of a game then is go towards a side lane. It's like pause right here, just pause right here.
Yeah.
So if we look at the situation we're currently in, normally I would say push mid and roam, right? And this is where it becomes, you know, confusing because the game is unique based on the game. In this game, it actually doesn't make a lot of sense to go mid right now. The reason is
because
yeah, you have no turret, and so if the enemy leave that wave, it doesn't really matter. You have a while to respond, and then as soon as they go on the wave, you can go respond mid. But in the meantime, you can, since they have to go mid first, essentially, you can just go straight to a lane where it's going to be a lot more safe. 1, because you have a turret, and 2, potential to take their turret or get gold and whatever. So here I would go bottom lane, or in this case, yeah, probably bottom lane. I would say because we actually see as well like Mundo's pretty low. So yeah, we could probably go bottom lane here. At least get the wave out of it, because again, us getting the wave's better than Malphite anyway, and then possibly break you open, you know, kill the Mundo or something like that. And worst case, we get nothing, and then we just go back as soon as the enemy goes mid, because you're gonna have enough time since you don't have a turret, so it takes a while before the wave will actually die. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's all. You can start the replay, but because a lot of times as well, we kind of have to understand when the game is going kind of poorly, we want to find some type of way to make something different happen. Essentially, it's like
to take maybe an object and like a tower.
Yeah, which a lot of times is going opposite side. So even here, you saw Galio go top, which is another reason why you should think about going bot here. And being mid's not awful. I don't like hate this decision. If you're hitting plates or whatever, you should be hitting plates. But
I will get maybe a couple of bait, something.
Yeah, I don't know why you're not autoing the turret. Like you're just straight up just looking at the turret. Like you could have, the turret could have, you lost. You didn't even get a plate because now it's 7:30. You could have gotten like 2 plates as well just by autoing.
Okay.
Not the end of the world though, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about clearing the wave and then get the turret, but yeah, my mistake there.
I mean, your autos don't do that much to waves anyways. It's your abilities that are going to clear it for the most part. So like it would just make more sense. Like you would have actually killed this turret. I don't even know if you'll kill it now. So,
I will kill it. I will take it. I will take it.
So we lost like 300 gold because we didn't get the plates, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And so especially now that we took the mid turret, we were really looking to go like say bottom lane or top lane. I would say, you know, this dragon, for example, you should definitely go bottom side instead of going to the dragon.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I'll go bottom side.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, and they lose the fight, but I keep but I pick the bottom turret. I don't remember now.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's most likely what we're going to be thinking about doing, so I'm glad that's in your mind. But again, we can see how much time, and now here I'm fine, like we're on the wave, we get the mid wave, we should immediately go bot here again. This is a great opportunity. You can one-shot the wave, and then you should go bot really, really quickly. But we don't. We go top, and so this is where we kind of need to understand.
I recall like, here.
Or you recall.
Yeah, I recall.
So we need to understand like why we would go. Again, first thing is we have a Malphite in a more aggressive spot. Like the wave is in a more aggressive spot, so it's more likely. Second, Malphite has ultimate, good for gank setup. Third, top side, there was just nobody really there. There was nothing really going on top side. So like we need to understand these types of things. Look at that and make the plays. Because right now, like I said, most of you're on the mid waves properly. Yes, we could still fix some of the laning, like in terms of punishing last hits, but overall you understand what's going on in that lane. You should have gotten this additional top waves, what you do, so that's fine. And you understand getting waves decently well. The problem now with you is really like deciding when to roam, where to be on the map after you've done the
that's
basic
my
things.
problem also. Yeah, that's one of my problems actually also.
Yeah, and so the big things we're going to look for is 1, and I'll write this down, so remind me to write it down if I forget, but 1 is going to be gank setup. So gank setup means like how much CC do they have, like a Malphite ultimate, you know, a Renekton stun. These types of things are really good for setting us up. And then 2 is going to be what can we get out of it? So for example, you know, a lower health turret on bottom lane compared to top lane, more likely that we can kill a turret. And then it's going to be how easy are the people to kill. So in this case, Mundo is actually pretty hard to kill, so that's the one negative part. But even here you can see once again, where should you be? You should already be bot side, setting that up, that wave.
Yeah, I think I'm going bot side now.
Yeah, you do
because
now.
I see that the fight. They are not doing nothing. No, I'm going top side. Yeah, I'm going. It's not this one then. It's the other fight actually.
Yeah. But we can kind of see then what we're getting out of it. And so it's like you even know, kind of what you should be doing, but then we just don't end up actually doing it in practice a lot of the time. So that's kind of where these types of things just end up going wrong. But again, not bad. You're still catching waves. You're still being like relatively useful in the fights. It's nothing crazy, but that is something that can definitely help with the comebacks a lot. Because now if you do go bot side at this point, it's way too late. We need to be setting up 30, 40 seconds beforehand. And then if you'd have that bottom wave pushing, say that like they responded and they came bot, then you could go top. Like you could recall go top now. So it's not like you always have to actually take the turret, but drawing pressure across the map. Instead, what you're doing is basically just grouping with your teammates and not really getting.
Here I missed.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world though. But yeah, you'll probably end up dying.
Yeah, because I remember Mastery comes from down and from
I was gonna say Master
bottom side, and I don't see him. Voila, here.
And you should have known that Master Yi is here because he was on the bottom side clearing the waves before. So we like should have known this. And so this is where then we get the fight set up kind of poorly and everything. The main issue there is if you'd gone through bot side and then even again if you wanted to fight, you still should push that bot wave out 40 seconds beforehand. And then recall again, like I said, I'd like you to go bot turret anyway, but like even just recall if you want, go to the fight, and then they're not going to be able to find those flank angles because they're going to have to clear the wave way more up. But when they can clear the wave that deeply, they get in access straight into your jungle, and then they can flank like that as well. So
here I don't remember. I go top side to clear the wave if I'm not mistaken.
Going mid is best here.
No, I'm going mid because Lux is going up. He's going.
So we also generally, now that we're 12 minutes, we want to be spending more time around the Baron side. So like we no longer, that's why you have to take advantage of the first 10, 11 minutes when you can make plays on bottom side. But notice how neither of these outer turrets are killed. Bot and top turret aren't killed. 100% you could have changed that. Like at least the bot turret dies now. But like we could have definitely changed that and made that happen earlier, and that's just going to be extra like gold onto us for free. And there would have been gold bounties, at certain times on those as well. But yeah. Maybe you can kill. Nice. Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do in this fight.
No. Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, you get stacks from this fight and their jungle's dead, so it's not a big deal. But at this point, now that we're in this point in the game, this is when it kind of just becomes... And so this is, again, understanding the phases of the game. Now that we're in 12 minutes into the game, now it's just... I'm just going to click my buttons on Syndra and hope that what I did in the first 12 minutes got me strong enough to where my buttons do enough damage. And so at this point now it is just clear the wave, whatever wave is convenient, go to the team fight because this Baron matters, because the third dragon in a lot of cases matters. In this case it doesn't because each team has one, but in many cases it will. And then you are positioning extremely aggressively here, like even though you had no vision of the enemy. And that is a thing as well, as your positioning in general is sometimes a bit far up without keeping track of champions, and so that will be another thing that we'll focus on. And I would say the thing we really want to think about is what champions are dangerous, what spells are dangerous, and then keeping track of those. So like in this game, Master Yi going on you is the only like super dangerous thing, and then the only other thing is maybe Galio dash. Everything else is like you're going to see it before it comes to you. You're going to see a Mundo before he runs at you. You're going to see Jhin or Nami. They're pretty long range. So we really need to keep track of those champions, and if you know where they are in fights, then you position in a way where they can't kill you or that type of thing, and you're usually going to be fine. But here you just you walked in without any vision. I guess your teammate steals it, so you should immediately go top side here. Your immediate reaction should.
I'm going top side.
Yeah. And so we can see a lot of times you do what I would say as well. So it's not like you're not aware of these things, and you're definitely like improving a lot on these types of things, which is great. And then now again we're just stalling the game and hoping, but at this point obviously pretty tough because our team did die after that anyway. So.
Yeah, because I'm going to defend. Yeah. Because I could have if they didn't die, I could have pushed top. I would continue to push top side, but they died, and I wanted to at least not.
No, it was good to come back. This is perfectly fine.
I think
like
I get
at this point in
the
the game,
here.
there's not much more. Oh, you actually killed him? Nice.
Yeah.
Good. I didn't expect you to even be able to kill. That's the fun part about Syndra. As soon as you're 100 stacks, it's like one-shotting.
Yeah, it's. But even if you are not at under stacks, if as soon as you close Rabadon, it's it's GG. Like it's like you can one-shot Squishies or even Bruiser when you get under
you
stacks.
can one-shot Master Yi here unless he uses W.
Yeah.
But otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
here,
like I
if I'm
said,
not
probably
mistaken, yeah, here, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pushing. Yeah, here I die. Yeah, from Mastery. I didn't expect it to. I didn't expect him to be here actually.
this death doesn't really matter though. There's a useless dragon, no Baron up. You're just pushing
Yeah.
away. This is perfectly like this death doesn't matter. We don't care.
Yeah,
about
but we lose the game here because I go. I wanted to leave Dragon. I told them to leave Dragon. I pinged them actually,
Yeah.
and they were a hard pushing top side. And I go bottom side because I told like we are 10k down, and
Yeah.
I could have taken the. I think I take the bottom turret, but they all die at the Dragon with the fight, and
Yeah.
yeah, we lost the game.
Which is fine. Like you were probably gonna lose this game anyway. You're down 8k gold, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just we're probably gonna lose. Or nine and
yeah,
a half k actually. So yeah, I mean at this point in the game, oftentimes, I mean one like if you're like we see your farm is much better. I mean you're nearly most gold in the game apart from Master Yi and Jin's a little ahead
yeah,
of you. It's like what you've been doing to get gold has still been pretty good. And in this type of game, we're probably gonna expect our team to like you should just go bot here, yeah. We should just expect
yeah, yeah.
our team is obviously bad. Like we're down 10k gold. We probably got there because
Yeah,
we're not
I
playing good.
always ping them like.
Yeah, and that's fine. And it looks like they don't actually contest unless they go like really
Yeah. They go to. The problem is that they go to fight. They don't contest, but they go to fight after the
Yeah.
dragon, and they die like this for no reason.
Yeah.
You see, Malphite engaged
Yeah.
like Mundo for no reason, and yeah,
Let's get
and
the
they fight
recall
there,
here,
and
yeah. I guess since you see 5 now, you decide to go up, which is fine. I'm more just
Yeah.
of the like I would just recall. Like I don't really care about this turret that you're getting. I'd rather just recall to try to defend base or something. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. Like it's probably over, but at this
Yeah.
point in the game, like I said, you have to shift your mindset. 12 plus minutes. It's now like defending those turrets. Not losing as much, not losing a Baron
Yeah.
afterwards. These types of things matter more
Yeah.
than taking that additional turret or something.
Yeah.
But game was probably over anyways. But yeah.
Yeah, it was over. Yeah. And this mastery was really good every time. Like he would literally evade my
Your ultimate, yeah.
ult. Yeah, always was good.
And so that's also
yeah.
going to be something that you're going to need to keep track of. And you can exit like it's over, right? But
Yeah.
that's something you're going to need to keep track of. Is like I said, keeping track of the dangerous champions. Then you need to understand what abilities are dangerous. So Master Yi is dangerous when he has his Q up. But as soon as he uses Q, now he's not dangerous. So you can't be blowing your ultimate before he uses Q. Like that's just something you need to understand. But obviously it makes sense because you're not going to play against a lot of people who are actually trying to dodge your spells with their abilities. So it's something you'll have to keep in mind when you're playing against better players. But yeah.
Yeah. So here, I think I was doing good in this game. Okay, and this like laning wise against Kale. I'm also trying electrocute when I see like 3-4 squishes more than first strike or more than fleet footwork.
Yeah.
Because I saw that with electrocute at one point, even with 2 items, I can one shot a squishy. I don't even need Rabadon with electrocute. So I'm trying it out. I don't know if it's good or not, but yeah, these are my runes. Yeah, you cannot see them here, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, honestly, if you see top victors trying this stuff and you want to try it and it works well for you, that's fine.
Yeah, it was the top first one.
Yeah. I don't play enough Victor to like really know like, oh, I prefer electrocute or first strike. Like I don't pretend to know every champion perfectly or anything like that. But
of course.
It should be fine if they're really squishy. Definitely to go electrocute. I mean, I usually prefer first strike when I can get it on a mage because I like hitting my death cap quicker on like everyone.
Yeah.
But if you're in a hard matchup, going fleet makes sense as well. Obviously, this is an easy matchup. So going for more aggressive runes, like I think it's logical. It's fine. But you're doing the same thing, dude. You should once again be where Galio was when I was telling you to stand in there. You know what I mean? Like you're not. He's not scared. Like he should be terrified of you right now. You need to be on his 2 minions right now, poking him out. Like don't auto because then you're gonna drop minion aggro. But use your ability to poke him as soon as you can. You haven't done any damage to him, and 1.5 minions have died. This is not good. And then your first auto attack is a negative trade for you health wise because you're trading within minions. Then this is where you get a good trade. You could have already done that and then done it again, and now he would be even lower. But instead, now you're walking back, clearing a random word. This isn't your job. This isn't what your champion wants to do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So the thing is, in this game, I was a duo with my friend Wukong.
Yeah.
And he asked me to clear the word. I shouldn't have listened to him. I knew that it wasn't a thing that I should have done. I knew it.
Is your friend the Wukong?
Yeah, Wukong.
Okay, he sucks at Wild Rift, so he's horrible. His pathing is horrible.
Yeah.
Completely awful. Your friend sucks. So never listen to what
Yeah,
your friend
yeah.
tells you ever again. But yeah, no. Like, your job as a champion, and you know, I get it, it's hard to not listen when you're talking to someone, like, it makes sense, right? But your friend's literally fucking trolling the game. You're getting invaded right now. Like,
I told him.
we need to
If you see, I
understand.
pinged him to go
Yeah.
to Mastery, yeah. Like
We
if you
need to
saw, I
understand the
pinged him.
goal of our champion, though. Like, your goal as a Victor is to have a big lane lead and be really aggressive because it's a Kayle. Like, you need Kayle. You don't want Kayle to just be able to play freely and go even into you, and that's what Kayle's allowed to do. Sure, you have a health lead right now, but this Kayle gets to farm everything. You're not taking any type of advantage. The only advantage is that we're getting a slightly better recall, which is good that we're at least getting that recall, but you could have pressured him way harder, had a bigger gold lead. Instead, he's ahead of you 1,500, or 150 gold, rather. He should never be ahead now, 200, right? I don't know the exact minion state, but like, he has a gold lead on you. And that's all because you're not walking up level 1. It's the same thing into that Galio that you could have done on Syndra. Galio, Syndra is just going to poke, whereas Victor might actually kill a Kayle at some point. So that's the only difference. But either way, into most of these melee champions, as a mage, you need to be getting that pressure on the lane and having the control over the wave. And then you can go and clear your friend's ward after you'd crash the wave under the turret and you have nothing to do, and he's stuck clearing, you know, the Kayle's stuck clearing and you can't do anything. Then that's fine. But yeah, not like earlier than that or anything. So that's really the main thing we need to understand. Punishing these last hits better, and also taking control, taking space in the lane, being more aggressive with these types of matchups, understanding the goal of the matchup. Like, just think to yourself at the beginning of every game, what do I want my outcome to be in my lane, and how am I going to achieve that? And then go from there. Like, if you're playing into a Jace, the outcome you want is just to not die and go even, because he's really hard to beat early game. And so in that case, it's fine to basically do what you're doing, just poke when you can, just last hit, play pretty, you know, in a straightforward manner, but we just need to understand that, basically.
Yeah.
And then again, we're at the point in the game we should have realized we can't kill Kayle. He's level 5, he has his ultimate. We're not doing anything to him. So what do I want to do? Same thing I told you to do after you got mana boots on Syndra. Push and then start roaming. And roaming doesn't mean you literally have to get a kill every time you roam, or you have to get anything. It just means, look where your jungle is. Yeah, look where your jungle is, push the wave, and then go towards the side of the map your jungle's on most of the time. If your jungle's not in a position to gank, you can just go and ward something. If your jungle's in a position to gank, then you can possibly set up, you know, some type of gank or some type of play or something. And sometimes it doesn't have to be with your jungle. If, say, you see an easy kill on the other side of the map, you can go there too, but yeah. But instead we're losing lane. So you said you did well in lane, you didn't. You played awful, and you're losing lane to a Kayle, which is, I'm not like flaming, I'm just saying this isn't true.
No. True.
We lost the lane to Kayle. Even if technically we had a health lead most of the time, your gold is still like down. I'm pretty sure.
Here I lost it. No, here I lost it.
No, yeah. So no, even, right.
Yeah.
And so why did this happen? We're down a level, which is from all of the other mistakes we spoke about, led to you being down a level. We're flashing onto him even though he has ultimate, so you're also not keeping track of spells. So it's the same thing with the Master Yi. You didn't keep track of his Q. You ult while he has Q. He dodges everything. Same thing here. He has ult. He's of course gonna dodge your spells. So like, even if you did flash onto him, if you really wanted, maybe you could have tried to do that and then bait everything, but not actually use anything until he ults. Like, if that's like, you were like, oh, I think he's gonna ult, I'm gonna wait. Maybe you could do it there, but even then, that's like really risky with how low health you were and everything like that. So
I like sometimes I do this because I get greedy, and I hope that my laner is not so good and has those, you know, second that he doesn't push his ult, you know, to and maybe I'm able to kill him, but here my positioning was bad.
Because again, you're not keeping track of spells. Like, Set should ult you and go on you, and yet you're walking into him. Just not keeping track of spells. You could have taken the longer way around to position with your team as well. Your team was going through the bottom side, and then you went through the top, like, you know, the mid top side into the fight. So you guys were split up. You're not a flanking champion. You can't flank people like that. You know, you have to be with your team and walking into the fight with your team. So that's why we pushed the mid wave early, because then we get to reposition ourselves into the way we want. So you could have gone through the bottom side with your team there and poked them. But yeah, when it comes to trying to predict when your teammates or when your opponents are gonna fuck up, like, don't do that. They're going to fuck up because they're bad, but don't try to like magically predict when they're gonna do it. Take into account everything that you can. Take into account that they have ult, flash, barrier. What do they have? And then if they have things which they could respond to you with, and if they play perfectly, like, essentially you should say, if they play reasonably well, and you expect them, if they play reasonably well, to kill you, then you shouldn't do it. Like, you shouldn't do the play. Sure, if you think they have to do some like crazy outplay to kill you, like they have to land like, I don't know, a bunch of skill shots using a really hard or whatever, like then you can try to outplay. But most of the time, I want you just making the consistent play that's going to work every time, rather than the play that only works if the enemy sucks. Like that's not really going to be the best here.
Yeah, I'm like since last week, I'm trying to put everything that you that you taught me. Sorry. I see improvements, of course. Like it's not possible to improve in 1 week.
There's a lot
like,
of improvement, especially with where you are on the map and getting gold. These are like big improvements. The focuses now need to be the lane phase. You need to be like 10 times more aggressive, especially in any matchup that's easy. And I want you to be over aggressive. Like I want you to die. I want you to lose lane. I want you to fuck up in lane by being aggressive, and then to reel it back afterwards, right? Rather than the other way around, where we're just so scared that we don't figure it. So like that's the first thing.
That's my problem. That's my problem also, that sorry if I stopped you. That's my problem also, that I told you last time, right? Like I know what I have to do, like I know what you taught me, but like I can see that maybe in 60-70% of my games I apply what you taught me, sorry, but there is still that 30-40% that I fuck up because I'm too tilted, or I'm too focused sometimes, so yeah, that's my
it's also
problem.
just how the brain works. I mean, like I don't remember the exact biology behind it, but it's like the more you do things, just like the more you're naturally going to do it every time. So of course, when you're just learning something, you're not just gonna 100% of the time do it perfectly. Like that's
of course.
That makes sense. But yeah, I would say right now, you're in terms of where to be on the map, you're like 80 or 85% there. There are those couple times, like for example, that second dragon where you should have been bought, but most of the time you're in the right place. So you can continue to have that as a focus, but for now, like you're above master level in terms of mid lane for where to be. So that is at least good for that, and getting gold, and then that efficiency is all good. Then when it comes to lane phase, this is the thing I want you to like, for say the next week, like hard focus on. I want you to limit test in lane. I want you to fuck up in lane. And I think that if you're getting ever confused about wave management, specifically watch my I have a wave management guide on my channel. It's in my evergreen videos playlist. You could find it pretty easily. And so I would say, like, maybe you've watched it already, but like at some point, say that you're trying to figure out like, oh, this lane matchup didn't go well. Why didn't it go well? You can watch that to kind of get an idea of what you could have done differently with your wave and stuff like that. I guess you AFK'd here. I was unlucky.
I hear. I don't know. I think I AFK for a moment. I was writing something like about Pantheon, because like he literally picked, like I told him in draft, and he's a grandmaster, I think 50 marks, and he picked Pantheon against Set, but Set counters you. So
it's fine to play Pantheon into Set. I mean, it's not like something where you just can't win. I mean, he can build anti-shield and be fine.
Of course.
Like, we don't need to get mad at our teammate for picking. Like, I would pick Jace into Malphite when I would see a which is the hardest counter to Jace in the game, if you don't know.
Okay.
I would pick Jace into Malphite and I would carry the game because I'm just good at the chance. Like,
because
anymore.
Of
that's
course.
What I'm saying. It matters more if they're good. Just don't get too tilted about that. It's funny, my video that I made today is actually literally about how team comp doesn't matter and you can win anyways, and it's me.
I saw him. I saw it when, like, I saw that you posted it when I was recording the video for our session now.
That's
and
funny,
I'm gonna, after our session, I'm gonna watch it.
Or are you a member? Because it's only available to members for now. It's only like
I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but I'm a member. Like since last coaching, I just bought the membership.
Gotcha. So yeah. Anyways, the reason I said that is like it genuinely a lot of times doesn't matter if we understand, and like that's not something. It's sometimes annoying, and it depends to the extent. Like if I get a Yuumi jungle, yes, I'll be tilted, right? That's different than a Pantheon adopt if it's a bad matchup. But that's okay. Like when we have something like that, it's still going to be fine. And Pantheon has ways to beat that anyways, like to beat Set early game. It's not like it's an unplayable matchup. But that aside, the lane phase is what we want to hard focus on. And so what I want you doing as well is like, you're going to come across matchups then where you're going to get solo killed. I want you to be happy about the fact that you get solo, because I think you basically never get solo killed in lane matchups, because you pretty much just like, maybe you lose them, but you don't really ever get killed. And you probably barely ever get kills as well, which is fine, because I don't get a lot of kills when I'm playing Orianna, Cinder or whatever. They're just not going to get that many solo kills early. So I don't want you playing for a solo kill. I want you playing for this 100 or 200, 300 gold lead, getting a proper recall off. And then again, I want you understanding as well the timers that we spoke about. The first 3 to 4 levels, the goal is to actually lane After that, we get the recall for mana boots, which we do understand pretty well. And then we're pushing and roaming most of the time after that. And then the 430 timer, getting our wave push before dragon. Like, that's like the major focus I want overall. And then I want that additional aggression lane. But anyways, the thing is, if you have a lane matchup where you end up fucking up, you die, whatever, maybe you just like, oh, this feels really hard. I want you to watch back that lane, really think to yourself, like, what could have I done differently? How would this lane go wrong? Like, actually just watch back that replay, because only watch back the lane. It takes 5 minutes. You don't have to watch back the entire game. Just those 5 minutes. Try to figure things out. And then, you know, your conclusion is either, yeah, I could have done this or that. Or your conclusion is, I don't know. Maybe I'll show Tal in this video if we do coaching another time. Or your third conclusion could just be, this matchup fucking sucks. Like, I've watched back many Syndra games versus Yasuo, and my conclusion is just that this matchup sucks. Like, it doesn't... You know, I can't do anything. So that can be a conclusion as well, because sometimes that is just what happens. So those are the big things I focus on, and then what's up?
Yeah, I had a video that I thought about bringing it today. I don't know why I brought Victor, but I was with Oriana against Syndra. He literally fucked me in lane, but yeah, it was like a challenger, 6-time challenger and whatever, and he was really good. He was really good, but like, it's not about being good. It's just that, like, I felt like Oriana vs Syndra is like a really shitty matchup.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, I fucking grinded Oriana, so I've had this exact experience where I was playing into a Syndra, and I'm like, what the hell can I do? Like, this seems kind of unplayable. And then the more I played it, I still 100% think that that matchup is favoring Syndra, but I realized there's actually advantages you could take, and then I played Oriana into rank 1 Syndra sovereign player, and I ended up winning lane against him and like carrying the game. And the main reasons I was able to do this is, like, one, if they don't properly punish the last hits, like every time that they try to walk up for a last hit, they're trying to punish me. I'll walk up and trade with them, because you don't lose because you lose trades, you lose because you're outranged, and so they can just poke you a lot harder. And so level 1, your goal is pretty much to sit back and do absolutely nothing except
and just wait.
Get the last hit, because the longer that Syndra is just not doing anything, the better it is for you, because her goal is to get as many stacks in the lane as possible. So if she's just not hitting you, that is good. Like, that's enough that we can be happy about. And then when you get level 2, your goal is to get first strike first, because you can QW and just get the first strike proc. And all you do is trade around your first strike proc, walk up for last hits using the first strike to like kind of back them up. And then that's pretty much all. And then you win long-term trades. So if you ever get an all-in, you win, because your autos do more damage early game. And so that's pretty much what you're trying to do. But it is a really hard matchup. So I understand, like, that is...
like, I didn't play my lane, literally. At one point, I got the lead over her, like gold wise, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to say some lies, but just because I roam, like, you know, I did the same thing, just roam, take side gold and whatever. And at one point, like, I was not even, of course, because she had like, I don't know how many kills. I was 2-3, but proportionally, you know, I was in a good spot, even if I lost lane hard, literally.
And I mean, that's a lot of times the goal in these harder matchups, is just understand how to get gold. And that's why, like, these things about how to come back are important, so that when you do get a hard lane matchup, you're able to come back by playing on the opposite side of the map or doing things like this. And then, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it as well, so the two things I want you focusing on specifically for, like, say this week or so is the lane phase that we just spoke about, but then also your specific, like, team fighting mechanics and everything like that. Because when it comes to 1, last hitting, you're very bad, and then 2, your positioning is very, very bad. So, like, you need to keep track of, like I said, the key spells in the fights, understand where those champions are, and then understand what champions on your team are going to protect you or you should be positioned around, and then focus on that. So, like, here, for example, why the fuck did you not run away quicker? We saw Master at us, and we just decided, I'm just going to wait till he's on top of me. Like, you legitimately saw him for like 2 extra seconds, and then you ran away. So you just, I don't know why even. Like,
no. Like, I don't know either. I thought that I could have one-shot him, but I didn't. And after that, like, I realized, like, what the fuck did I do? You know, like, literally, literally, that was a bronze play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is fine. It happens. But yeah, like, we need to keep track of, like, specific things. Like, how's he gonna respond if we go on him? Again, he's gonna either Q or W. Either way, Q makes him invulnerable. W makes him basically take no damage and heal up. Either way, we're never gonna one-shot that champion. That champion's nearly impossible to one-shot, especially with you you're 2.5 items. You're not even 3 items in your 16 minutes in the game. So you're weak relative to the game as well.
Yeah.
And he has Edge of Night, which gives him some HP. So he also has some HP in his build. Never, ever, ever going to one-shot him. And so we just need to understand things like that, which comes from time, which is fine. You can limit test, you can try, but I want you to be thinking like, I can do this because of the fact that he has no flash or no ult, or he doesn't have these spells, or like he's just, maybe it is just a Sona who can't respond. Or you need to understand that rather than just like, oh, I think I can one-shot him, so I'm going to try to one-shot him, but I have no reason to think I can one-shot him. And then again, you walked up
to a set,
into melee or even
2k,
to a
2
set.
damage. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're it's just these like positioning things, which are not as much things as I can't like give you insane advice on how to do that as much as like
no, it's just
decision making.
practice.
So that's just something, to specifically focus on, which is fine. I'm going to share my screen with you so we can write some notes then.
Yeah, just for a moment. I finished this.
Let me know when you see my screen.
Yeah, 1 moment. I take out Wildrift. I stop the sharing. Yeah.
You see it? Okay. Yeah, first thing is level 1 into melee. Take way more space in lane. Does it make sense when I say it like this? Like, take way more space in the lane?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's what I want you doing. I want you trying to squeeze in these autos into a champion like Galio, because realistically what happens into Galio, for example, is he might Q you right away when he shows up and he's next to you, but then you get to auto him for free because he has to go into your auto range to Q you, and then you get a Q back, and even if you go even health, you're happy because you got an extra stack. So like that's still beneficial to you. So we need to understand that type of thing. And then similarly, understand the goal of our lane matchup and play towards that.
Be more aggressive.
What's up? Sorry.
Be more aggressive also, like you said.
It depends on the matchup. Like I said, don't do it in a Jace, right? So yeah, if possible.
Of course.
Which is like, that's why the thing I'm typing is not be more aggressive, because I'm typing understand the goal, because the goal sometimes is aggression, sometimes it's not. The other thing though is like when you're into Kayle, for example, you're not just gonna solo kill him. Like Victor usually won't solo kill him. Syndra usually won't. So your goal is not just solo kill him. Your goal is get as much of a lead before level 5 as possible, and then use that lead to get an advantage, because you're not going to solo kill him definitely once he's level 5. So either you're going to solo kill him pre-5, or you're just going to get the advantageous recall, have the gold lead, and then use that gold lead, that pressure, to then rotate first and maybe impact the map. Because that's the thing people try to do a lot into these weak early game champions. They try to just like kill them under their turret or whatever. A lot of times that leads to you dying to turret, or you not getting a big lead. Like the only way to get a lead on a late game champ is not just through killing them. So we need to understand that. Then yeah, just generally limit test or lane matchups, and be more confident, that type of thing. Then do not ward level 1 again. We mentioned this before. It's fine. You understand that, but you didn't do it one time, so we'll write it down. Then when it comes to keeping track of I'll write the timers actually. So it's like first 3 to 4 levels, goal is to lane and get gold / health feed. Then recall for mana boots. Then we come back to lane. And goal is usually to push and roam with jungle or ward. Again, depends on the specific game. Not every single game is this going to be the goal. Sometimes if you're like dominating lane, maybe you can play for lane lead, but most of the time you're not going to solo kill people a bunch. So if that happens, that's different. And then around 4:30, 4:45, we need to push our lane, then go to objective. We need to make sure, like, usually what ends up happening, there's going to be a wave at like 4:20, 4:30 that shows up. You're going to clear that wave, but then you still have another wave that will come before the dragon actually spawns. You still need that wave pushed most of the time, unless there's an easy fight angle right away. But otherwise, you get that wave first.
About this, usually, not in those 2 games, but usually what I do is that I usually recall, like, if I can, like if I'm able to, 40 seconds before dragon, so I can come back in lane, and push that last wave before the dragon.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
usually do that most of the times, like let's say 60-70% of the time. But yeah, I know it. Macro wise, I know it.
That's good,
But
yeah.
yeah, but as we said it, like as I said it, sometimes I don't do it. I don't know why. My brain, you know.
Yeah, which is fine. It happens. And then
Yeah,
the other thing is when we're into these like melee matchups in lane, a lot of
yeah,
times the goal of a melee matchup is to get the wave near their turret, but not,
yeah,
crash under the turret, and then to all in you. And so we need to understand when those all in angles are for the different champions. Like for
yeah,
example, for a Kali, level 2, she has her shroud. Now she can do that a little bit. Obviously,
yeah,
level 3, she has better, and then level 5 is like where she could maybe actually kill you if she
yeah,
can get the wave to be there long enough. And that is what happened to you against Galio, where he was level 3, which is where he has a really good timer to kill you.
engage. Yeah,
And your wave was stuck in that exact spot. And so we need to understand, basically, like, understand that melee champs
mm,
want the wave near their turret on their
yeah,
spikes
yeah.
and prevent this. Do you know how to prevent this?
Uh, like trying to freeze the lane on my side, maybe
No,
is that one?
sort of, but
No.
no, not really. By
Or hard push.
stacking a big wave and
Okay.
crashing it. So the reason that stacking a big wave and then crashing it makes this not a problem is because if you stack up a big wave, say I have 6 minions of mine, and
Yeah.
I've started to kill some of theirs, they only have 3 minions. I'm
Yeah.
going to hit level 4, level 3, level 5, whatever before them. And so
Yeah.
no matter who they are, an Akali can't really all in me if I've poked her out properly, as we spoke about, and then I'm also
Yeah.
up a level on her. But if she's even level and even health, then she can. So we need to understand, I don't want you to just freeze permanently, because freezing permanently, then they get to push and roam, because now the wave
Yeah.
is on your side, so then they can just push and roam and you're still fucked. So you need
Yeah.
to play the lane well enough and aggressive enough by doing things like taking space in lane, properly punishing the last hits, getting those
Yeah.
proper recalls so you have the item advantage, the health advantage, whatever, and then
Mhm.
using that to have this big wave built up, and then you crash that wave either lets you recall, then roam, do these types
Yeah.
of things without being threatened. But then you need to understand, once the wave is big enough, you need to crash it quickly then, rather than like waiting and letting it get stuck for longer, Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Totally.
So those are basically all of the lane phase tips. Then
Yeah.
the other thing I was focusing on is positioning, micro, these types of things. And so the first thing is
Yeah.
keep track of most dangerous enemies.
Yeah.
And their specific spells that are dangerous.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty straightforward, right? Like, do not Syndra ult, Master Yi.
Yeah.
If he has Q and
Q.
W, obviously we
Yeah.
can't do anything. So just these types of different things we keep in mind. And
Mhm.
it just like pretty straightforward as well.
Yeah.
But it's something that you're not doing. So put our front line between us and the enemy. Because again, you're
Mhm.
finding weird flank angles, or you're the one going farthest forward, and
Yeah.
we can't be doing that. And then the time where you can kind of like be over aggressive or positioning is going to be in a
Mhm.
couple different scenarios. The first is going to be, say there's like one person you really have to one shot in the enemy team, and you're deemed like the only chance you can win is by one shotting their fed vein, and you're like, I think I can one shot him because maybe Lulu already used her ultimate and her veil, so I know like, no, I can do it now. And so then you go for
Yeah.
him, you do that, and maybe you're walking farther forward because you know you have to do that to win the game. So that's going to be a
Mhm.
time where it's okay to maybe be farther forward. But what's not
Yeah.
okay is to do that when they have a set running at us and a Master Yi running at us, and they're
And
nobody's
going.
one-shottable. We're really fed, maybe even, so like we matter. All those types of things. So we just need to understand kind of
Yeah.
that with
Yeah.
positioning. And then that's just something like just generally focus on mechanics and fighting more, which is like,
Yeah.
this is not something I'm specifically giving advice on, as in like I'm not giving you like a
No,
specific thing.
it's just practice. Yeah.
It's just something you need to keep in mind, like kind of focus more on these things. So I would
Yeah.
say even one good thing is, because again, obviously I play Syndra, you can watch for like my games for Syndra, but I don't play Victor, so maybe watch a good Victor player play it, see what they're
Yeah.
doing.
I
And
almost saw
yeah.
your Syndra video. So yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm saying you can compare those types of mechanical things, and that's one reason why sticking to a few amount of champions until we get really good with that is also nice, but that's obviously up to you when it comes to that.
Yeah, of course.
But so yeah, these are the main two things I want you focusing on. Is the lane phase things. I would say since they happen kind of during different parts of the game, like this is essentially your first 5 to 6 minutes of the game. I want you thinking about these kind of 6, or so things. And then when it comes to the other parts of the game, I want you thinking about this. And then keep in mind, your efficiency. There were times, for example, like I'll write this down as more of a minor thing, but opposite side of Second Dragon. But you do this frequently, like you even did it later in the game, so you understand like this, so it's not something I need you thinking about. It's just something, a little reminder. But in terms of getting gold, everything is good, and then focus on those things. So any other questions or anything at all?
Just one question before we end. It's just like, so I told you, like, I'm rebuilding my champion pool.
Yeah.
Because I know how to play lots of champs, okay? Not well, of course. It's like I know how they work, okay? But I'm rebuilding my champion pool before and like mid of April next season, to just spam those champion. I thought about like 4 or 5 champion max, okay? And 2-3 champs are like my go.
Yeah.
And there would be Syndra, Victor, and Ori and Aureliusol. Those are my 4, okay? That I will literally spam. You tell me also like if Aureliusol could be good, but I found myself really good with Aureliusol, good spot with Aureliusol, let's say. But I feel that Aureliusol is a champ that is really hard, like to carry the game sometimes, like if you fall behind,
Yeah, so Asol is more of like a kind of a tank counter, like he's really good at melting into like immobile comps or comps that are just easy to get your damage off, because it's really hard to get a lot of your damage off. So if they have a bunch of assassins, a bunch of champions who can dive on you, you struggle really, really hard, compared to like Victor is probably the best of those champs into assassins. Syndra and Orianna also struggle into assassin type of champions, but not to the extent that Asol. So for me, it's like with your champion pool, it makes sense to try to pick later. Anytime you're like, oh, they have a Mundo, for example, pretty good for Asol. They have, just sets who are champions who are easy to, not set, I just meant champions, who are easy to go into. Or maybe, like, again, I don't even play Asol. I'm sure you have lane matchups where you're like, I really like this lane matchup for Asol. Then play him into that, right? If you see that matchup, that's fine. Just lock it in. If it's a champion that works well for you, you should definitely play that. The only thing about your champion pool, and it's fine to stay with these 4 champions, you can definitely climb on them if this is the style of play. But all 4 of your champions are the same champion. They're all mages who scale, who are fine early game, but not insane early game. Like, they're very similar. And so...
Yeah, that's why I have a 5th champion that I played quite a lot. That is, I started to play because I like ADC, okay? ADCs. But I'm really bad and play them bot lane, okay?
Yeah.
I like them playing mid. Like that's why I started playing Varus mid. Okay. I love Varus because it's really versatile. You can play on it, you can play AP, you can play lethality, And I started to play in mid lane a lot, Varus.
Yeah.
You tell me if it's a good pick to put on in my champion pool, because he's really strong early game. Like he's a really lane bully, I think. You tell me if I'm right or not.
I mean,
but
it depends. Like, not that much. I mean, his lane phase is okay, but like I don't really consider him a lane bully. I mean, when it comes to like, it depends on the matchup you're playing him in, but yeah,
of course,
he's not really
but
that much of a lane bully compared to other.
Yeah, of course, like a Jace or something. Yeah.
Jace,
You
Lucian,
tell me, like,
Arslan are like the types of AD champions that are like lane bullies, where it's like the time when we would play Varus mid is pretty similar to the time that we would play a mage anyways, except maybe if we want AD instead, which it's fine if this is a champion that works well for you, win on. Like, I don't give a shit what you play if you win on it. I mean, I don't even care if you lose. It doesn't affect me. But like, obviously, like in terms of your champion pool, whatever you win the most, if you see that Asol and Varus are the champions that you win the most on, then I don't care that Syndra and Victor are the strongest. I played Jace and won the most on Jace when he wasn't good, or when he was like, I played him in many different metas, so it's fine if that's what works for you. In terms of like just my view of your champion pool, if I'm just like objectively looking at it, it's not a very good champion pool in terms of versatility, because you could just choose 2 of those 4 mages and they would do the same thing as the 4 mages, but then you'd get better because you're only playing 2 instead of 4. But if you get bored and you're like, no, I just enjoy playing 4, then play all 4,
Mhm. And what do you like an advice? What champion what champs like to, let's say, rebuild my champion pool like with an
Yeah.
AD champ? Like what could I play like in
Yeah,
like
so if
it's
you're
good.
looking for an AD champion, there's
Yeah.
a lot of types of champs you could like. And again, keep in mind, it's fine to just one trick if you just want to do what you do now. And this is
Yeah,
fresh, right?
I cannot one trick. I cannot one
Yeah, yeah,
trick.
yeah.
Like I
So
told you, I have
so yeah,
ADHD, so
if you
like
want to diversify your champion pool a little bit with more like, and I even mean like your champion pool just with all the mages. If you just want to only play mages, if that's what's fun for you. But if you do want
mhm,
an AD champion, you can play
yeah.
Varus if you really want. Although I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of better options. I would say, for example, Akshan or Jace are both better AD lane bullies. If you want
Yeah.
a more assassin-y type of champion, then you could play Yone or Yasuo,
Yeah.
and that would do well. Probably Yone. Yone is a lot easier. Yasuo is pretty hard, so it'd be really hard to learn.
Yeah.
So I would say Yone or Lucian or Jace or Akshan are a lot of AD
Yeah.
champs that make a lot of sense to me.
Lucian, I tried it. I tried it a couple of time
Yeah,
mid. So you say that maybe like, and Lucian, I know mechanically how it works. So like,
yeah.
if you say that Lucian is a good option to put him like in my champion pool
Yeah, I
mid, I
would
would
say
like.
basically you could just lock him in when you have an AP jungler for the most part. Or
Yeah.
maybe if you see like Kassadin, then like on enemy team, right? Because he counters
Yeah.
those types. So yeah, I think Lucian. And still Varus is fine if that is just what you end up winning a lot on. It's still fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like the thing is with Varus, I end up not always, of course, because it's impossible, but most of the times I end up winning my lane with Varus.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I
I
mean
can even
he's not
solo
a bad
kill them
laner.
at level 2. When I take my second skill, most of the times I solo kill a mage at
Yeah,
level 2 with Virus.
gotcha.
So that's what I mean. But if you say Lucian is a good option, I'm gonna practice it a lot in mid, and so I'm ready for the next season.
Yeah,
Let's
and the
see.
other thing is the best time to practice, like if you're not having any goal of going Grandmaster this season, then
Yeah,
practicing now is good. But
yeah,
generally, to me, the best time to practice champions is the first month of any new season because you're never going to get to your peak rank in the first month because it takes like 2 to 4 weeks for the best players to get to like Master Plus, anyways.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so like you're not gonna like if you're playing against sovereigns every game, you're just gonna lose just naturally. So you're never gonna
yeah.
get to that at the start. So that's the time where it makes the most sense to practice because it doesn't really matter if you win or lose because you're
Yeah.
just focusing on improving so that you're going to start winning and carrying more games when you're in like you're against the other like grandmaster peak players, that type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, of course. Yeah, what I thought yesterday I had a game. Then you tell me when we have to stop. Yesterday I had the game that we won. Okay, I
Yeah,
went 13. I can show it to you. I went 13:06. Wait, I'll show you the. I'll show you the. I'll share the photo. I
all right.
went 13:06 with Soul. Okay.
Yeah,
Wait, where is it? Yeah, 1304 with Soul, and the top lane. It was a penta, like with all people, like only the Twitch that I knew.
yeah,
Wait, where is it? Yeah, here. Yeah, send. And they were like, so like you see, Twitch was a sovereign
yeah. You like
player.
hard carried this, I see
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah.
stuff.
Hard carry with the set that went that wanted to go IFK. Like he went IFK because he had something to do at like
Yeah,
minute 10. I didn't reply. I said no. I was really fed at minute 10. I was already fed.
yeah,
And but these people are challenger. Like the Twitch is a sovereign. Like
yeah.
Set is a challenger. Wukong is a challenger, and Lulu is a grandmaster. So
Mm-hmm.
last time I told you like my goal is to be consistent and get grandmaster every season. Yeah, of course, that's still my goal to be consistent and learn the
Yeah,
game. But yesterday I saw that these people are challenger and sovereign, like, and if they can be challenger and sovereign, me after the coaching next season, my goal maybe is to get challenger already. You
how
know what I
much are
mean?
you playing a season, like roughly how many games
Oh,
have you played?
this season I played too much. I told you like 1.2K because
Okay,
like
then it's entirely doable. Yeah, if you're playing a lot, you don't even play 1.2k. It took me 490 games to get sovereign.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
do really well, it could take you 7 or 800 to get Chal sovereign. Like that's completely
Yeah, yeah,
realistic.
yeah,
Even a lot of the people I've coached who were originally master or grandmaster, I see them
yeah,
hit challenger in like 500 games pretty frequently. So it's definitely
yeah,
possible.
yeah.
And yeah, when it comes to like challenger and sovereign players, they're not special. That's something I have to kind of explain to people a lot. Is like when when I started streaming, I was a Grandmaster Peak player. Like I'd played the game before, but I wasn't like that good. And I viewed like certain players as like gods, and then I play more and I get to know them because like I'll talk to them, they'll be my stream, and I realized they're really fucking stupid people. They're not like anything special. They just played the game a lot and then got better. But like they learn through like they're not good basically. That's all. Like a lot of these players, they're not that good. Nothing impressive. Probably the reason this guy's a Sovereign ADC because he plays Twitch with a Lulu duo every game, or he plays something with Emilio, or like he's just playing with OP shit. And it's not that he's bad; he's not awful, but he's nothing special.
No, it's not. It's not a bad. It's Sovereign is not bad. Like actually, the previous game with Zeri, we hard carry me and him, me with Syndra and him with Zeri. We really hard carrying these three other people.
But yeah, these players are
it's not bad. It's just
and they're
that the
still
two,
definitely
you know. Yeah, it's just that the two that are Challenger and Sovereign. Like I mean, like now that I started like watching more of your macro videos, watching more videos now with the previous coaching, like now I realize like if they can get Challenger and Sovereign like me, after I told you I want to do one coaching a week, like next season, if with all the coaching that I will do, I want to hit Challenger or Sovereign, like what?
Yeah, 100%.
If this is the level,
Yeah, no, it's 100% doable. I mean, yeah, like I'll see a lot of challengers and Sovereign, and especially later in the season, because that's the other thing. Like, yeah, the people who hit Sovereign, within the first month and a half or 2 months, are usually
those
good.
are gods. Yeah, those are
they're usually
good.
pretty good. But the people hitting it like at the end of the season, that's sometimes they're so good, sometimes they're not, and so it's more doable because then you just start playing it. Especially like the masters that come in at the end of the season are really bad. So those types of players you're going to be able to carry against anyways, and then you just abuse them and it's fine. So
yeah. Okay. Good.
all right,
Perfect.
then wait, I don't know if I said anything else.
No, nothing else. Thank you for today, and yeah, I'll let you know in these days when for next week with my work schedule and my university. Probably still around Friday. Let's see, or maybe Sunday. Probably Sunday because I will Saturday. Sorry, because I will be free, so I will have more time.
Sounds good.
I'll write you. Okay. Thanks, Talan.
See you later.